I'm Jill from Paper Daisy Crafting. Thank you for joining me today for another video tutorial showing you how I made one of my paper craft projects. Hope you're all well today and that you've had a fab day. This is the card we're making today. It's from a bundle called All Squared Away. I have bought this when the new annual catalogue first came out, and I have sad to say I haven't used it up until now, but isn't it pretty? You get this little cutout in the middle of your card. I think it's just fab. And so I'm going to show you how I made it. A lot of die cutting, a bit fiddly. Might not be for those amongst you who don't like to fiddle. But anyway, let's have a go. So we're going to take a sheet of basic white, nice thick cardstock, and we're going to trim that down to 14.5, which is just about half of the sheet, but I just keep it easy. It'd be 14.8, but just to keep it easy, I'm going to do 14.5. And then we're going to score that at 10.5, and that will be our card blank. Oops. And then we're just going to burnish the score line and go all around. Like so. There we go. That's not quite square at the bottom there. Might just take my chopper, just chop off a little bit just to make sure that that lines up really nicely. So sometimes that happens when you don't cut absolutely on the square. Right, I'm just going to measure halfway across this. So it's 10.5, so I need 5 2.5. Just a little mark there because that's where I'm going to put my die. So I'm going to use one of the dies from this set. I'm going to use this one. These are great dies, these sort of stylistic, minimalistic flowers. I love them. And I don't really know why I've not used this set a bit more before, but I haven't. Right, I'm going to line that up. Make sure it's straight. Make sure it's in the middle. Use a bit of washi tape to hold it in place while you die cut, and then check again that you've got it in the right place. I'm going to move my grid mat out of the way because it will slip and slide if I have my big cut and emboss. Just slide that through, and I just need the other plate now. What have I done with the other plate? Oh, excellent. Lost it. I think I might have put it in a drawer here. Hang on a sec. There it is. Thought I'd seen it lying in a drawer, so just pop that in there and through we go. There we are, and that will give us our cutout and our card, like so. Just carefully remove. Oh, that's interesting. I've got an imprint of the 3 from the mat up there. That'll probably come out with, I'll give that a little rub afterwards. So this is our die cut to use for the card as well. So that's going to go back in there. But in order to make it sit, we need a frame to sit it on. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now I'm using our layering squares, which are no longer in the catalogue, I'm afraid. So what you could do if you don't have the layering squares. So here's the layering squares set. They were scallop edge and plain ones. If you don't have these, then you could just cut a square and then just cut out carefully. You could use the trimmer actually to just cut around an inner frame as well. I'll tell you how much these measure so that you can do it yourself. They measure, that one is 4, need my glasses on, 4.8 square, and this one is about 4.1 square. So I'm just going to take a piece of fresh freesia. I've lined these up inside each other, so I hope they're going to stay like that. They do kind of fit inside each other. But like I say, they're just squares, so it is quite easy to cut them by just using your trimmer. And our trimmer, you could cut out the square in the centre as well. But because I've got the layering dies, I thought I'd use them. So there we go. There's our frame that we need. That is going to go round, I hope. Oh, that's interesting. I've done the wrong size. Okay, let's try again. because I lost these dies for a while. Right, okay, I think it's this one I need. Okay, so forget the measurements I gave you before. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do one big one. Let's measure it and tell you first of all. Haha, it's 5.5. Yeah, okay. I didn't check those. I'd lost the dies and I found a couple that were lying separately and assumed they were ones I'd used, but obviously not. You need this frame to be bigger than the hole you've cut in the card because your cutout needs something to sit on. So there's our big die. And then in the centre of there, we're going to cut, we'll use the other, or this one there. I think it's that one, is it? Let's have a look. It's that one. Yeah, that's the one. And then should be able to tell by the inside. I'm just going to measure the inside to tell what size square we did there. 4.5, so I need a 4.5 square die. Might be this little one. No, that one's too small. Is it this one? Oh, that one's too big. Have I got the wrong ones out here? What's that one? That one's too big. Oh, this is very odd. I've definitely used these dies before. I think it must be that one. I think it's that one. Let's try it with that one. Where's my square gone? Oh gosh, I'm making a real muddle of this tonight. It's very late and I'm trying to do this in a hurry. Hey ho, it's good to see all the things that can go wrong as well, so that you don't feel like you're the only one when things go wrong for you. Right, so I'm placing that in the centre of my square, so it's going to cut out a frame. Should have measured these squares before I came on camera, shouldn't I? Really, there we go. So that's the one. Now you've got a frame, that's better. Frame that is going to sit around your square, and then your cutout can sit on there and just show a little frame. Like so. And then I'm just going to take a piece of the scrap card and 2 of the little flowers from the die set. These 2. And just die cut them, and then I'm done with my die cutter for the moment. And then we can just put the card together. There we go. Oops. Put them over there. Try not to lose them. There's our 2 dies. Right, okay, let's get rid of this die cutter and get back to our card. There we go. Crash on the floor. Right, okay, so we've got our card blank. Just going to take a rubber to that bit and hope that rubs out. Yeah, I thought it would. That's interesting. That I've never had that before. I don't think I've probably never put a card through where that number was, but it was the number 3 that was on the plate. There we go. Just use that a bit more. Right, where's my frame? My frame is here. So I'm now going to stick that over the aperture that I've got in the card. So I'm going to put the glue around the aperture, and what I'm actually going to do, oh no, I am going to do it this way. I was going to say I'll do it from the inside, but I think I will do it from here so I can see where I'm putting it. There we go. So there's our frame, and then we just need our cutout, which I'm not going to stick on yet, but I'm just going to show you where it's going to go. It's going to go on like that. And so it will cover up the rest of the purple frame and look like it's just sitting. Before we do that, we are just going to do some colouring on here. So the 2 little flowers that I just cut out, I'm just going to add a bit of shading to them, and then I'm just going to colour in the stems as well. Before I colour in the stem, I'm just going to mask a little bit of this because I want a nice straight line. So at the bottom here, just going to line this up with the frame. So like I said, this card is a bit more fiddly, with a bit more opportunity to go wrong than some of my other makes. So might not be for you, but I do love the finished effect. So There we go. So I'm going to take my light Granny Apple Green, and I'm going to colour these stems in Granny Apple Green. You might wonder why I'm using my bullet end. It's because the brush end has nearly run out and hasn't got much ink left in it, so I'm just using the bullet end for the moment till I can make another order and order another combo set. There we go. And there we go. There we go. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the dark, again with the bullet tip, this time because I just want very thin lines, and just add a bit of detail to my leaves. And then come back. This is where the blends come into there. I am going to use the other end this time, because it doesn't really matter that it's running out. I just need a little bit of the alcohol to blend that in, so like that. So you just got a little bit of a pattern there, and then we are just going to stick. Oh, let's colour these as well. So we're just going to take the dark Fresh Freesia. Oh, if I can get the lid off. There we go. Gosh, that was stiff. And just doing a little bit of shading at the bottom here, just to give it a little bit of interest. Like so. And on the other one. Like so. And then just bring your lighter one in. Gosh, these lids are very tight. I can't believe I haven't used them before. And just, maybe just blend those in. Like so. Isn't it great how all our pens and everything all works together? Right, so a little bit of glue on the back of these. Use my cocktail stick, toothpick to just spread that out. And that is going to glue in place on there. Oh, liking this colour scheme. I wasn't quite sure how this was going to go with the Granny Apple Green, but I'm quite liking it. And then this one. Like so. Like so. And then we can remove our washi tape. So we've got nice straight borders there, liking that. And then this will go back on top here. Oh, look at how all that matches. It's so lovely. So great. I had such problems before I joined Stampin' Up with matching things. I can remember one particular day I wanted to make a card with a piece of yellow cardstock, a piece of yellow patterned paper and a bit of yellow ribbon, and I had drawers of patterned paper, but I couldn't find the right colour to go with what I was doing. Just showed how important it is to have coordinating things. So there, isn't that pretty? Right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this one of the stamps from the stamp set. I'm going to do the stripy one because I just like that one. So I'm just going to stamp that onto a piece of Whisper White, basic white. Oh, Jill, call it the right name. It's because we had Whisper White for a long, long time before the factory unfortunately went out of business in the pandemic. There we go. And so now we've got basic white, which is a slightly different colour to our Whisper White, not so that you'd notice really. But it's hard to start calling it something else. Right, I'm just going to trim this down, leaving a little border, this tiny white border. Using this line to make sure it's straight. You can line that up against it. And then just round here. So just trim that down. And then that is going to glue inside our card. That's not our card. Where's our card there? That is going to glue. This looks very Mother's Day-ish actually, doesn't it? I might do this for Mother's Day. Oh, I was going to do Happy Birthday, but I think I'm going to make it for Mother's Day because these colours really make me think of Mother's Day. Right, I'm just going to put a tiny mark in the corners here, just so that I can glue this in exactly the right place. So you could, of course, stamp straight onto there, but you need to be careful that you do stamp in exactly the right place because this is not very much bigger than your actual cutout. So you want it to take up the whole space. Right, I'm going to have a look for a Mother's Day greeting now. Just put this in here. And just check before I stick it. Doesn't seem to be quite centered. Just turn it over a little bit. So the Tombow glue will give you a little bit of wiggle room if you don't get it right. That's really nice. Now let's have a look. What I do is I stamp all my sentiments on a sheet so that I've got them. So those are my happy birthdays, my thank yous. And I've got Mother's Day here somewhere. Oh, not many Mother's Days actually. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. I might have some others now because I think I didn't do the new stock. So I'm just going to have a quick look and see what I've got. Is there one in Daffodil Daydream? Happy Mother's Day. There we go. We'll use that one for today. Thought we did have some. So to take that out. Just going to have a check of Flowering Tulips. Has that got a Mother's Day one as well? Yes, it has, but it's a bit small. A bit small for what I want, so this one will do. So, I've used my bit of fresh freesia now. I need another piece of fresh freesia. Here we go. So this is going to go across the bottom with this greeting on it. So, peel off the back. I very rarely put the stickers on the back of my stamps. Right, okay. So, need my embossing buddy, which I've obviously got out, and I don't know what I've done with it. My desk, you wouldn't believe what a mess my desk is today. Seem to be losing everything. There it is. Right, so just use your embossing buddy. Grab my Versamark. Stamp my greeting, roughly in the middle of this, I think, maybe at the topish. Hoping it's straight. It's not absolutely straight. See if I can get it on the stamp a bit more, on the block a bit more straight. Might just do that on the other side. There we go. And then some white embossing powder. So if you have it in a big container like this, you don't need to worry about filtering it back into the tiny little pots. So you can just, you don't need spoons or anything, you can just manoeuvre it. Works really well for me. And that's only one pot of white in there. It looks quite a lot, but it's only one pot. Right, it's going to be a bit noisy while I use my heat gun. Just use the heat gun to melt the white powder. There we go. And then we just need to trim this down so that it goes across there. So that's, I think, fairly central. So I'm just going to do a little mark so I can trim it off in those places. Won't be entirely flush at the minute. I will trim them off at the end. And then I'm just going to bring my trimmer in and just trim it down so it's a bit slimmer rather than quite so fat. So Oh, I'm getting ahead early here with Mother's Day. This isn't like me at all. But I just thought those colours just reminded me of sort of Mother's Day and Easter, so just seemed a prime time to do it. There we go, and that can go across the bottom. Oh, isn't that lovely? Really liking these colours. Right, bit of glue on the back there. Bit of smoothing out with my cocktail stick, which I've lost. It's buried underneath my pile of rubbish on here. There we go. And then what's this down there? And we're just about done. Just use your bone folder to make sure that is pressed down really well. And then just trim off those odd edges. Like so. And there's a Happy Mother's Day card. Isn't that fab? And here's our thank you one as well. Really, really pleased with those. Really like them. Yeah, that will be going to my mum on Mother's Day. So I'm ahead of myself. So I hope you like my cards. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you might give them a go. And I'll be back really soon with another project for you. So join me for that. Press on the subscribe button if you haven't already, and then you won't miss any of my projects. And if you want to get a notification, you can click on the bell and that'll send you a little email every time I post. Meanwhile, thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now. Bye.